Take a look at that dusty pile of old cardboard sitting in your garage, basement, or next to your recycling bin. To most people, it looks like trash, just another delivery box, something to flatten, throw away, and forget about. But to a gardener, that same cardboard is something completely different. It is not waste. It is not junk. It is potential. It is food for the soil. It is shelter for worms. It is a slow-burning energy source for fungi, bacteria, and all the invisible life beneath your feet. In other words, that old cardboard box might be the beginning of the richest, darkest, most fertile garden soil you have ever touched. And the best part is that you do not need expensive tools, complicated compost systems, or fancy gardening products. You do not need to spend your weekend breaking your back with a tiller. You do not even need perfect soil to begin with. All you need is cardboard, water, a few organic materials, and a little patience. Today, we're going to talk about how to turn ordinary cardboard into what gardeners often call black gold. Rich, living soil that holds moisture, feeds plants, suppresses weeds, and slowly transforms even tired ground into something alive again. Maybe your garden soil is hard like brick in summer. Maybe it is sandy and water runs straight through it. Maybe weeds seem to win every year, no matter what you do. Or maybe you have spent money on fertilizer, compost, soil conditioners, and garden bags from the store, only to feel like the garden still is not improving. The truth is, healthy soil is not built from quick fixes. Healthy soil is built from life. And cardboard is one of the simplest ways to invite that life back in. So, let's slow down, step away from the idea that gardening has to be a fight, and look at a quieter method. A method that works with nature instead of against it. We're not just making dirt today. We are building a living ecosystem, one cardboard box at a time. First, let's talk about why cardboard works so well. Plain brown cardboard is rich in carbon. More specifically, it contains cellulose and lignin, which are materials that fungi, bacteria, and other soil organisms can slowly break down over time. Think of it like this. Fresh grass clippings are like fast food for the soil. They break down quickly and give microbes a burst of energy. But cardboard is more like a long-lasting meal. It takes longer to decompose, but it keeps feeding the underground community for weeks and months. That is exactly what you want when you're trying to build soil. When you lay cardboard over the ground, you're doing several things at once. You're blocking sunlight, which weakens weeds and grass underneath. You are helping the soil stay moist. You are creating a cool, dark environment that earthworms love. And as the cardboard softens, fungi begin to move through it, breaking it apart and turning it into organic matter. If you lift a piece of wet cardboard after a few weeks, you may notice white threads running through it. Many beginners see this and panic, thinking something has gone wrong. But that white growth is usually a very good sign. That is fungal activity. It means the soil food web is waking up. It means decomposition has begun. It means the cardboard is no longer just cardboard. It is becoming part of the soil. Earthworms also love this environment. They want moisture, darkness, protection, and food. Wet cardboard gives them all of that. They move in, they feed, they tunnel, and they leave behind worm castings, which are one of the most valuable natural fertilizers you can have in a garden. So, before you throw away that box, remember this. To you, it may look like packaging. To the soil, it looks like dinner. But there is one important rule. Not all cardboard belongs in the garden. The best cardboard is plain brown corrugated cardboard, the kind used for shipping boxes. It is simple, uncoated, and easy for soil organisms to break down. What you want to avoid is glossy cardboard, shiny printed packaging, wax-coated boxes, plastic-coated materials, and anything that feels slippery or artificial. If it looks like it has a plastic layer, do not use it in your soil. You should also remove all tape, plastic labels, staples, and glossy stickers. Yes, this part takes a little time. It is not the most exciting job in the world, but it matters. The goal is to feed your soil, not bury plastic in it. Once the cardboard is clean, it is ready to become part of the garden. Now, let's talk about the mindset behind this method. Traditional gardening often teaches us to fight the soil. We dig it, we turn it, we break it apart, we attack weeds, we disturb everything, then wonder why the soil feels tired again a few months later. But soil is not just empty material. It is full of structure, tunnels, roots, fungi, bacteria, insects, and microscopic life. When we constantly till and disturb it, we break apart many of the systems that help plants grow naturally. So instead of fighting the soil, this method protects it. Think of cardboard like a blanket. Your soil has been exposed to heat, rain, wind, footsteps, weeds, and maybe years of neglect. Instead of cutting into it and turning it upside down, you're going to tuck it in. You're going to cover it, calm it down, and give the underground life a chance to recover. This is slow gardening, quiet gardening. No machinist, no gossiping, no noise, no dramatic battle against nature. Just layers, moisture, and time. One of the best ways to use cardboard in the garden is a technique often called sheet mulching or lasagna gardening. Why lasagna? Because it is all about layers. You build the bed layer by layer, and each layer has a purpose. The first layer is your cardboard base. Choose the area where you want to build soil. It could be a weedy patch, an old lawn, a tired garden bed, or a bare piece of ground. You do not have to remove every weed first. You do not have to dig everything out. If the grass or weeds are tall, just press them down, stomp them flat. Then lay your cardboard directly over the top. Here is the most important detail: overlap the edges. Do not place cardboard pieces side by side with gaps between them. Weeds are persistent. If there is even a narrow crack of light, they will try to grow through it. Overlap each piece by at least 6 to 8 inches, or about 15 to 20 centimeters. Imagine roches tiles. You want a continuous barrier that blocks the light. Once your cardboard is down, water it deeply. And I mean really water it. You want the cardboard to become heavy, soft, and flexible. It should start molding itself to the shape of the ground. This helps remove air pockets, keeps the cardboard in place, and creates that moist environment that worms and microbes love. Dry cardboard just sits there. Wet cardboard begins to transform. After the cardboard is soaked, it is time to add the green layer. This is your nitrogen-rich layer. You can use fresh grass clippings, vegetable scraps, coffee grounds, green garden waste, or other plant-based kitchen scraps. Avoid meat, dairy, oily food, and anything that might attract pests or create bad smells. This green layer gives bacteria a quick source of energy and helps speed up decomposition. You do not need a huge amount. A couple of inches is enough. Then comes the brown layer. This is another carbon-rich layer, and it balances the greens. Dry leaves are excellent. Straw can work. Wood chips can work too, especially as a top mulch. The brown layer helps absorb moisture, reduce smells, and create a more balanced environment for decomposition. If the green layer is the energetic part of the recipe, the brown layer is the stabilizer. Finally, add a top dressing. This can be finished compost, good garden soil, aged mulch, or a mix of whatever organic material you have available. This top layer makes the bed look neat and finished. It also gives you something to plant into right away if you do not want to wait. And that brings us to one of the most common questions people ask. Do you have to wait months before planting? No. You can plant right through the cardboard. This is where the X-cut method comes in. Take a sharp garden knife and cut a large X through the layers where you want to place a plant. Peel back the cardboard flaps. Dig a small hole into the soil underneath and place your transplant into the ground. This works especially well for tomatoes, peppers, herbs, flowers, shrubs, and many other transplants. After planting, fold the cardboard flaps back around the base of the plant. Then cover the area with compost or mulch. Now, the plant is growing through a protective layer. Its roots are shaded, the soil stays moist, weeds are suppressed, and the cardboard slowly breaks down around it. Over time, the roots will move deeper. The cardboard will become softer and weaker. Worms and fungi will continue doing their work. And by the time the plant really needs more space, much of that cardboard will already be turning into humus. This is the beauty of the method. You are not waiting for perfect soil before you garden. You're gardening while the soil improves. Now, what actually happens underground during the first couple of months? In the first week, the cardboard begins absorbing moisture. The weeds underneath lose access to light. They start weakening. Their leaves yellow. Their roots begin to die back. And as those weeds break down, The nutrients they pulled from the soil begin returning to it. Around week 4, you may see more fungal activity. If you lift a corner of the cardboard, you might find white threads, soft fibers, and maybe even earthworms gathering underneath. That is not a problem. That is progress. The garden is becoming alive beneath the surface. Around week 8, the cardboard may start feeling like wet paper. It tears more easily. Worms may be moving through it. The layers may begin blending together. What started as a flat sheet of packaging is now becoming organic matter. Of course, nature does not work by an exact calendar. If your climate is warm and moist, decomposition may happen faster. If it is dry or cold, it may take longer. That is fine. The process does not need to be perfect to be useful. The key is moisture. If cardboard stays completely dry, it breaks down very slowly. If it stays slightly damp, life can move in. So check your bed from time to time. If it looks dry, water it. If the top layer has become thin, add more mulch. If you see exposed cardboard, cover it again. Now let's talk about a few common concerns. First, termites. A lot of people worry that putting cardboard in the garden will attract termites, especially near the house. It is a reasonable concern, but context matters. Wet, decomposing cardboard buried under mulch is much more attractive to worms, fungi, and microbes than a termites looking for structural wood. That said, it is still smart to use common sense. Do not build cardboard mulch beds directly against your house foundation. Keep the material a few feet away from buildings, wooden walls, decks, and structures. In the garden itself, cardboard is usually not something to fear. Just place it thoughtfully. Second, slugs. In very wet climates, cardboard can create hiding places for slugs, especially if it is left uncovered. The solution is simple. Do not leave cardboard bare. Always cover it with compost, leaves, straw, or wood chips. This changes the surface environment and makes it less attractive as a slug hotel. If slugs are already a major problem in your garden, check under the cardboard occasionally and adjust your mulch layers. Third, smell. A healthy cardboard lasagna bed should smell earthy, not rotten. If your bed starts smelling sour, swampy, or unpleasant, you probably added too much green material and not enough brown material. Maybe there were too many kitchen scraps or too much fresh grass packed into one place. The fix is easy. Add dry leaves, shredded cardboard, straw, or wood chips on top. You are restoring balance. Composting is not about perfection. It is about adjustment. Too wet, add dry browns. Too dry, add water. Too smelly, add carbon and airflow. Too many weeds poking through, add more overlap and more mulch. Every garden teaches you something. Eventually, the cardboard disappears into the soil, and that is when the magic becomes visible. You will notice the soil feels different. It may be softer, cooler, easier to dig with your fingers. It may hold moisture longer after watering. Plants may look stronger. Weeds may be fewer. Earthworms may appear where you never saw them before. That is the beginning of black gold. This is not just dirt. It is humus-rich, living soil. Humus helps hold moisture. It helps hold nutrients. It creates structure. It gives roots a better place to grow. It supports the underground networks that make plants healthier and more resilient. And this is why cardboard gardening is so powerful. You're not simply feeding one plant for one season. You are building the foundation for future seasons. A bag of synthetic fertilizer may give plants a fast push, but does not build deep soil life in the same way. Cardboard, compost, leaves, roots, fungi, worms, and time. These create a system that improves year after year. There is also something deeply satisfying about the whole process. A cardboard box begins as a tree. Then it becomes packaging. Then it becomes waste. But when you put it back into the garden, the story changes. The cardboard becomes soil. The soil grows food. The food feeds you. And the cycle continues. That is a very different way to look at waste. Instead of seeing a box as something finished, you begin to see it as something still in motion. It still has a job to do. It still has energy inside it. It can still become part of life again. This method also changes the way you relate to your garden. Instead of rushing to fix every problem with a product, you begin to observe. You start noticing moisture, shade, worms, leaves, decomposition, smell, texture, and timing. You stop seeing soil as dead material. You start seeing it as a living community. And when you understand that, gardening becomes less stressful. You do not need to control every detail. You do not need to force everything. You are not the boss of the garden. You are more like a partner. Your job is to create the conditions. Nature does the complicated part. That is why this method is so good for beginners. It is simple, forgiving, and cheap. But it is also valuable for experienced gardeners because it respects the biology of the soil. You can use it to start a new bed without digging. You can use it to suppress weeds around shrubs. You can use it to improve pathways. You can use it around fruit trees. You can use it in vegetable gardens, flower beds, and neglected corners of the yard. Anywhere the soil needs protection and organic matter, cardboard can help. Just remember the basic rules. Use plain brown cardboard. Remove tape, staples, labels, and plastic. Overlap the edges. Soak it well. Cover it with organic material. Keep it moist. Give it time, and trust the process. Your garden does not need to become perfect overnight. In fact, that is one of the most important lessons here. Soil is slow. Worms are slow. Fungi are slow. Roots are slow. But slow does not mean weak. Some of the most powerful changes in nature happen quietly, underground, where nobody is watching. A month from now, that cardboard may look messy. 2 months from now, it may be soft and full of life. A year from now, that same spot may be richer, darker, and easier to grow in. 2 years from now, you may barely recognize the soil you started with. And all of it may begin with a box you almost threw away. So the next time you receive a delivery, do not just see packaging. See a future garden bed. See worm food. See weed control. See moisture protection. See black gold waiting to happen. Go to your garage. Find a box. Remove the tape. Lay it over a patch of tired soil. Soak it with water. Cover it with leaves, compost, straw, or wood chips. Then step back. Let the worms come. Let the fungi spread. Let the weeds fade in the dark. Let the soil breathe again. Because sometimes the most powerful thing you can do in the garden is not to work harder. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is cover the ground, feed the life beneath it, and let nature lead. That is the quiet revolution of cardboard gardening. One box, one layer, one small act of patience. And slowly, beneath your feet, trash becomes treasure.